so much water everywhere. Just even driving here, it's hard to drive. This road is actually closed, and if you look behind me, you can see why. This is a neighborhood that is so flooded. If we zoom in a little bit, in just a second, I can show you how high the water actually is. Those gentlemen over there, they all evacuated their homes because they knew it was going to flood, but he said he forgot something, so he's going to walk to his house and get something, even though the rest of his family and everyone else, all his neighbors, have already left this area. But you can see, based on the street signs, the mailboxes, and everything, how deep that water is. It's very deep. So this is just an example of the beginning of the flooding situation in Fayetteville. And this, I'm told, happens because Locks Creek, which is very close to this area, floods very quickly. I was speaking to the captain that is in charge of all the water rescues for Fayetteville, and he told me just today we've seen, in just a few hours, several inches of flooding increasing in that creek, Locks Creek. So this is the result of that. This is not supposed to be here. I mean, I'm telling you, driving around Fayetteville, it's really scary. And you don't know, you turn a street and all of a sudden the water is several inches high, some maybe a feet. So you have to be very careful out there. Like I said, this road is closed. So officials have been out here telling people you need to get out if you haven't yet. That mandatory evacuation is in place until 3 p.m. So if you don't get out by then, they say they're not going to come back and get you if you do have an emergency. So that's why it's so important. And again, even if you're not in that mandatory evacuation, just driving around was really scary. So everyone, just remember, be careful. And I just wanted to show you an example of how bad the flooding gets here. And that's just before we see those river levels continue to rise. Back to you guys.
Yeah, we know that that things are going to get worse before they get better. It doesn't appear that there's power where you are. And we saw the gentleman walking through those floodwaters. We can imagine that whatever he forgot was very, very important. Yeah. Are you finding other people out that are taking these evacuation orders very seriously?
Yeah, all this morning we were at shelters, and by the minute they were filling up. I think, they've been watching our newscast. They all watched that news conference yesterday. Very strong words that were used that said if you don't evacuate, you need to notify your next of kin. And officials have been going around door to door starting yesterday, knocking on doors, giving them flowers, letting them know you need to go. And I think people are really listening. You see all kinds of people at the shelters responding to that.
Now, Claudia, a lot of people may not have a place to go. If they can get to the shelters, fine, but 7,500 people being evacuated in the vicinity of these rivers, these shelters, if you do the math, can't handle all those people. Where are they supposed to go if they have nowhere else to go?
That's a really good question. Officials say they will make room for you. I know it's hard to believe, but if you can grab a bag, some blankets, a sleeping bag, anything, your life is more important than your comfort. So if you can grab anything and find a way to get to one of these shelters, they will make room for you. They could open another shelter. They're not going to let you, stay at your home that it can potentially be underwater in just a few hours. So I know it might seem helpless if you have nowhere to go, but call authorities. They will help you. We were out with some rescue teams earlier. A woman was so nervous. She saw water rising. She couldn't drive because she was scared. She called 911, and the rescue teams went out to her home. They stayed with her until she got transportation and was taken to a shelter. So they're dedicated to helping you, and they want to do this before it's too late, before they can get to you. So don't feel like you don't have another choice. They will help you out.
Yeah, they are so important right now. I mean, really doing some life-saving work out there. Claudia Rupcich in Fayetteville.